In this series of videos, we're going to show you how easy it is to create light shows and sync them in time with your music. I'll take you through the entire design and creative process, going through and creating a light show for a specific song in your DJ set. This is the most intricate way of using SoundSwitch. Remember, you can always use the auto loops feature. These are lighting scenes that are triggered and synced automatically in time with the beat grid from Serato DJ. I'll start by selecting a song that I'd like to script and loading this into the workspace. Now, using the new beat grid ruler, I'll go through and break down the track by highlighting each section and working on it one piece at a time. I'll start by working on the intro. I'm going to select the entire intro of the track. Then, I'll choose a color scheme from the color palettes, drop and drag this on, and then select how often I'd like the colors to change. In this example, I'm going to have the colors change every 1 bar. Once I apply the effect in the master track, all of the lights in my rig will play back these colors. As you're playing it back, you can make adjustments to light levels, change colors, and just double check that everything looks good. Now, I'm going to apply a fade in effect that lets me increase the intensity level of the lights over the entire intro. Then I'm going to bring that level down a little bit and start working on the first verse. I'm going to select the entire first verse, then I'm going to use one of the hotkey controls to put a pulse on every bar. In this example, I want to put a 70% pulse on every quarter beat. Once I've selected the intensity and timing of the pulse effect, I'm going to stretch out the purple color from the end of the intro to tie the intro and the first verse together. As I play back the track, I'm double checking that the pulses are in time with the beat grid and the music. Now I'm just going to finish off the end of this section where there's a little bit of a breakdown. I'll copy and paste this pulse, stretch the color out, and then leave the track going dark just before the drop comes in. Now it's time to move on and start working on the first chorus. I'll start by selecting a color scheme, and then building on it and adding a few different effects. In the master track, I set the colors and the intensity, and then I'll go through and work on some of the fixtures individually. Now I'm going to apply a chase effect to the 2 core 3x3 fixtures that I have in the venue. Simply make a selection, choose the effect, drop and drag it, and then choose the timing. As you can see by expanding the group, there's a whole lot of pulses in a forward motion chasing across the light. I'll play this back in a second, show you what it looks like. Now I'm going to repeat that and place the same effect on the other core in my venue. Let's quickly play that back and see what it looks like. Now I'm going to move on to the second verse. First, I'll start by making a selection and applying a color scheme to the master track. Then, I'll go through and apply a contrasting color scheme to some of the other fixtures in the venue. I'll do something simple. There's a lot of yellows, oranges, and reds in the master track, so I'll go through and put more of a blue color scheme on some of the other fixtures. Now let's play that back and see how it looks. Now it's time to move on to the breakdown. For the start of the breakdown, I'm going to have the light fade out while it changes from white to purple. Then I'm going to apply the same color to the second half of the breakdown. Then I'll ramp the lighting back up and put a bit of a drop just as the next chorus comes in. At the start of the drop, for the first 2 bars, I'm going to put a strobe effect. Then I'll select the color scheme for the remaining section of the chorus. At the end of the track, I'll just add a small fade out effect. Now that I've added all the color, strobe, intensity, and chase effects, I'm going to go through and start working with the moving heads that I have in the venue. I'll start by opening up the positions dialog. This gives me X and Y control over the moving heads in my venue. I have 2 moving heads, one set up on each side, and I have the pan and tilt inverted on one of them. I'll start by looking through the different positions that I've already set in my venue. When I find one that I want to change, I select both of the moving heads and move the dots around in the X and Y control until I find the position that I like. Once I've checked and I'm happy with all the positions that I've created, now it's time to place some position cues into the master track. I'll start by setting the lights on the home position and have them move to cross over the DJ booth by the time the intro finishes. During the verse, I want the lights to stay in the same position, so I'll drop the same position cue at the end of the verse. During the blackout, I would like the lights to switch to the next position. So here, I'll drop the cross down position at the start of the chorus. Now, I'm going to go through and add position cues at the beginning and the end of each of the sections that I've created. As you can see, I like to space my movements quite far apart. This gives you a nice smooth and easy transition between one moving head position and the next. Now that I've taken the time to go through and script this track, this light show will always play back, regardless of the venue that I've set up. That's because the master track information is standard across all of the venues and lighting rigs that you add to SoundSwitch in the future. So let's say I get asked to play at a new club at short notice. All of the effects that I've placed in the master track, including the positions, will play back at an entirely new lighting rig. There is some setup required when working with new moving heads, but it's as simple as pointing the lights in the right direction, and SoundSwitch will automatically update all of the position cues to work with that venue's lighting rig. Now let's play that back and see how it looks.